Stop for a moment. Do not scroll. Look at me right now. You did not arrive here by accident. I place this message directly in your path because the enemy has been trying to drown out my voice. And every single day you spend running through the noise of the world, you pull your spirit further away from my absolute peace. Hear me now. I need your undivided attention for the next few minutes. The waiting season that has exhausted your spirit is finally coming to a definitive halt. Heaven aligned time itself to bring you to this exact intersection. If you rush past this moment, you will miss the breakthrough I have placed in your way. Do not look away from me. You have been carrying a hidden anxiety in your chest for months. You smile for others while quietly breaking inside your own mind. You try to hold everything together using your empty human strength. But my child, I am telling you today that you cannot survive this way anymore. Look at the unseen realm. Something just shifted in the atmosphere around your life. My angels have been sent to battle the darkness that surrounds your family, but you have been too distracted by earthly problems to notice my holy presence. You missed a crucial sign that I sent to your heart yesterday. Wake up right now. The enemy wants you to believe that your prayers are falling on deaf ears. He wants you to think that I have completely forgotten your name. But those thoughts are malicious lies designed to steal your divine destiny. I have recorded every single tear you dropped in the dark. I am here. Can you give me just a few minutes of your time today? I promise you that your faithful heart will not regret staying here with me. The urgency of this moment requires your absolute stillness. The world can wait while your Creator speaks directly to your wounded soul. Listen to my voice. If you feel my holy presence moving in your heart right now, you must declare your agreement. Do not wait for a better moment to respond to my call. Take this first step of obedience before the noise returns. Comment Amen to claim restoration right now, because this simple act of faith will lock your spirit into my covenant. My beloved child, I am stepping into your atmosphere today because you are standing at the edge of a massive spiritual collapse. You have fought so many invisible battles in absolute silence. You have pretended that you are perfectly fine while your mind was drowning in a sea of worry. I know your pain. You have looked at your life and wondered why every door remains tightly locked against your efforts. You feel like you arrived completely late to your own destiny. But hear my words with the deepest place of your heavy heart. The delay you have endured was not a painful punishment from heaven. It was protection. I call this season your silent forging because I was shaping your soul to carry a heavy weight of glory. The enemy tried to convince you that the silence of heaven meant total abandonment, but I was actually working behind closed doors to rearrange every piece of your broken history. Trust my timing now. Look back at the moments when you almost lost your entire faith. I was the invisible hand that kept your heart beating when you wanted to give up completely. I saw you sitting on the floor of your cold room when the darkness felt too heavy for words. You were never alone in that empty place. The title of your story is not failure because I am currently writing a chapter of complete reversal for you. Everything that the thief stole from your life will be returned with a divine interest. Your health, your joy, and your financial freedom are being unlocked at my command. The time is now. But you must stop looking at the structural walls that the enemy built to frighten your mind. The walls of your private Jericho are trembling right now at the sound of my holy decree. Do not allow fear to dictate your next steps in this new season. I am your safe refuge and my love will never fail you. I am speaking to the silent survivor who has carried the financial burdens of an entire family without complaining. You have poured your pure love into empty hands that never knew how to hold your heart. You feel completely unappreciated by the people who depend on your daily strength. I see you. I record every single act of kindness that you perform when no one is watching your sacrifice. My ledger in heaven counts the love that the world chose to ignore or exploit for its own gain. You are a carefully formed masterpiece designed to reflect my light in a dark world. Keep going because your harvest is coming. The pressure you are feeling in your chest right now is a somatic signal from your spirit. Your soul can feel the intense shifting of the unseen realm before your physical eyes can see the results. Do not confuse this spiritual awakening with ordinary human anxiety, because it is simply my hand touching your heart. I need you to open your ears to the secret message I am releasing over your future today. A sudden wind from heaven is blowing away the heavy dust of your past disappointments. The people who mocked your tears will soon watch you walk into an abundant harvest. Stand up straight because your shame is gone. The enemy has set a dangerous trap of distraction to keep you from completing your sacred mission. He populates your day with endless digital noise and trivial worries, so you remain blind to my signs. But I have broken through the clutter to arrest your attention in this holy hour. Listen close to my words. I am giving you a divine promise that will anchor your soul through the final stage of this storm. I will restore every single year that the locusts have eaten away from your life. The lost years of your youth and the wasted energy of your broken relationships will be redeemed. Trust me with all your heart. You have spent too much time wondering if you are truly worthy of receiving my greatest blessings. You replay your old mistakes in the middle of the night and allow shame to dictate your worth. But my grace does not operate on human performance because I love you unconditionally. You are mine forever. A holy vessel must be emptied of worldly expectations before it can be filled with heavenly provision. The losses you experienced were simply my way of clearing the ground for a greater foundation. I am pulling down the temporary structures so I can build an eternal temple in your life. Be still and let me work. The clock of heaven is ticking down to the exact second of your ultimate spiritual breakthrough. God won't wait for your doubts to disappear before he executes his plan of total restoration. You must grab this word immediately and hold it tightly inside your spirit like a priceless shield. Move forward. I am opening a macro loop of revelation that will explain the deep mystery of your long waiting season. Stay with me until the very final sentence of this divine broadcast, because the truth will set you free. I am about to expose the hidden mechanisms of the enemy right now in this exact message. Let the weight slide off your tired shoulders as you listen to the cadence of my voice. The urgent warning I gave you was designed to rescue you from a lifetime of exhausting survival. You are no longer a slave to fear, because the King of Kings has called you his friend. Rest now in my presence. We are moving out of the phase of warning and entering the deepest valley of your healing journey. I'm going to shine a bright light on the wounds you have tried to hide from the world. Prepare your heart to be deeply understood by the one who created your innermost being. Let the healing begin. Come closer to me now. Let me speak softly to the part of your soul that is most tired. I know the exact weight you carry every day. You think you are completely hidden from my view, but I watch you when you are totally alone. And I see the exhaustion that you never show to the people around you because you are always forced to be the strong one. Your body carries the tension of 1,000 battles. Your shoulders are tight from the constant pressure of survival. You wake up every morning with a heavy heart. You wonder how you will find the strength to push through another difficult day. And you put on a brave smile for your family while your inner spirit is quietly crying out for a safe place to rest. I saw you when you sat in the dark kitchen last week. The house was completely quiet around you. You held your head in your trembling hands. You asked yourself if your current life would ever change for the better. And you wept softly because the pain inside your chest was simply too large for any human words to describe. I was right there. You are the pure-hearted giver who always fills the gaps for others. You absorb the emotional weight of everyone in your home. You make things easy for people who never think to ask how you are doing. And you often return to your own bed with completely empty hands because you have poured out all your energy into the lives of others. Your secret sacrifices are never lost in my kingdom. I record every single act of love that you give without receiving anything in return. Let this holy truth settle deeply into your weary mind right now. If you want to confirm that you are truly known by your Creator, respond to my voice. Comment "You see me" to anchor this validation. You feel incredibly lonely even when you are standing in a crowded room. People look at your outward success and assume you are perfectly fine. They do not know the quiet warfare that happens inside your thoughts every single night. You feel like an absolute stranger in your own life because no one around you truly understands your depth. I see the secret pattern that has kept you trapped for many years. You constantly replay your past conversations in your head to find your mistakes. You finish a great task, and you feel absolutely nothing inside your heart because you only see what is still left undone. You call this high standards. But that is a malicious lie from the enemy. Let me reveal the hidden mechanism behind this heavy burden. Long ago in your story, you learned that love had to be earned through constant performance. You believed that you were only safe when you were completely useful to the people around you. I call this the earning wound. It is not your true character. It is a deep scar. So all those years you thought you were lazy when you rested were not wasted times. You were simply fighting a lie that told you rest was a sin. All those moments when you could not receive a genuine compliment were not acts of humility. You were merely guarding a painful wound because you did not believe you were worthy of love. Today I am taking that heavy lie away from your spirit. The next time you finish a difficult day and feel that familiar emptiness, you must stop immediately. Place your right hand over your beating heart and hear my soft voice. You were deeply loved before you ever achieved a single thing in this world. Receive my grace now. You have lost so much during this exhausting survival season. You lost relationships that you thought would last for a lifetime. You lost financial opportunities that seemed absolutely perfect for your future security. And you sit in the silence wondering if you threw away your best years because of your own human mistakes. The enemy wants you to focus entirely on the physical gaps in your life. He shows you the empty bank account and the broken trust to create a constant panic. He tells you that your current state is a permanent punishment from heaven. But I am opening your spiritual eyes today so you can see the grand design behind the delay. You have prayed with intense faith for many years. You watched other people receive the exact blessings that you begged me to send to your house. You quietly wondered if your name was completely missing from my book of favor. This quiet disappointment has made your prayers grow silent because your soul is tired of waiting. Breathe deeply, my child. Let your racing mind rest for just 1 second. I am not angry with your quiet doubts. I understand the fragility of your human heart when the darkness lasts longer than you expected. Look at my face right now. I am still holding the promises I made to you when you were just a little child. You look at your family tree, and you see the exact same struggles repeating. You see the same financial lack and the same emotional trauma in every generation. You feel like an invisible wall is blocking you from moving forward into true abundance. You asked me why you had to inherit such a heavy generational burden. I know you feel like you are breaking under this historic pressure. You carry the unfulfilled dreams of those who came before you. You fight the demons that your parents could never defeat in their own lives. But my beloved child, I did not choose you to be another tragic victim of this old family pattern. I remember the night you cried in the bathroom while the water was running loudly. You wanted to hide the sound of your sobbing from the people in the next room. You felt completely abandoned by heaven and earth in that painful minute. You pressed your face into a soft towel and whispered my name through your tears. I was right there on the cold floor with you. Not a single drop of your sorrow was wasted in that dark place. I counted every tear and I placed them in my holy ledger of restoration. What you perceived as total abandonment was actually the moment I began to dismantle the ancient trap that the enemy built against you. You have spent enough time trying to heal your own spirit through earthly methods. You read the books and you try to think positive thoughts every single morning. But the static noise in your mind does not stop because the enemy has set up camp in your thoughts. You need a divine intervention that comes directly from my throne. To help you receive what I have already prepared, I need to tell you a profound truth. The silence you have experienced in your life was never my absence. The enemy has been filling the space between us with a heavy static noise. This constant noise has made my voice and my divine provisions completely invisible to your eyes. I have not abandoned your soul to this dark confusion. Because I see your deep weariness, I have quietly guided wise minds to align an earthly instrument of restoration for your life. This sound provision will clear the static and return your mind to my sacred rhythm. I will show you exactly what it is before this message ends. But before I reveal this special provision, you must understand exactly how the enemy blocked your blessing. You must learn why your mind became filled with this modern static and how easily it can be undone today. Stay with me in this holy stillness. Let me show you the true source of the interference. The darkness is losing its grip on your thoughts right now. The heavy veil that covered your spiritual eyes is beginning to tear open. You are no longer a blind survivor walking through a dangerous wilderness without a guide. And as you listen closely to the next part of my message, you will feel my power accelerating your complete restoration. Listen to me in the deepest place of your heart. I am standing right beside you in this very room. You cannot see my face with your physical eyes, but you can feel the warmth of my Holy Spirit moving across your skin. And this gentle touch will remind your soul that you are never truly alone. The heavy storm from last night was not sent to destroy your life. It was sent to scatter the hidden enemies who were secretly trying to steal your divine peace. I stood beside you when the entire world walked away. I heard the cruel words that people spoke behind your back. They thought they could define your worth based on your temporary failures. But I have already written your final victory on the tablets of eternity, and no human weapon will ever have the power to erase your holy destiny. You are my chosen child. My power is currently shielding your fragile spirit from their fiery arrows. You have been wandering in a dry wilderness for a very long time. You look for water, and you find only burning sand. Your feet are incredibly tired from the long journey. Your heart is heavy from the unanswered questions that haunt your mind every single evening because you feel like your faithful prayers have been completely forgotten by heaven. You wonder if this dry season will ever end. I tell you today that the rivers of my provision are about to break through the desert. Let us speak about the magnificent way I created your physical body. I am the great architect of your soul. I molded your flesh from the dust of the ground. I breathed my own life into your nostrils, and I designed your mind with a perfect celestial architecture that connects your thoughts directly to my heavenly throne. But the enemy knows that your mind is the control center of your destiny. He wants to disrupt the holy connection between your spirit and my voice. He creates a heavy cloud of confusion to keep you from recognizing my solutions. You must step out of the confusion right now because the urgency of this hour requires your absolute attention to the special instruction I am about to release. You must register your willingness to receive my celestial instructions. Pause your thoughts for a brief second and breathe my peace. Let your soul align with the timing of heaven today. My delays are always acts of perfect love for your life. If you are ready to receive my divine strategy, you must declare it with absolute confidence by writing the holy words of agreement under this broadcast right now. Comment, "Trust your timing," to activate your reception immediately. This simple phrase will open your heart to the mystery. When I designed the human mind, I placed a sacred frequency at its center. Scientists who study the brain have finally found this hidden signal. They call it the gamma wave. It ran in you as a little child without any effort, without complex prayer, and without the heavy burden of modern survival that currently drains your daily energy. Children learn so quickly because their minds are clear. They trust my voice purely. I wanted your mind to hum with divine receptivity always. You must become like little children to enter my kingdom. I was not speaking only of your spiritual attitude in that passage. I was speaking of the exact signal I placed inside the human brain, but the enemy used the constant noise of modern life to suppress its holy power. I prepared wise minds to work with sound. They built a frequency that clears the interference completely. It returns the signal I placed in you from the beginning. You do not have to work or strive for this breakthrough. You simply surrender for 7 minutes and allow my original design to restore what was taken from your soul while you rest in my comfortable presence. I will show you exactly where to find it. Stay with me. Now let us look deeper into the spiritual reality of your mind. We must uncover the remaining blockages that prevent your complete expansion. Your mind has been functioning like the voices of your past disappointments are constantly shouting for your attention, and the fear of the future creates a non-stop static inside your daily thoughts. You try to pray through the heavy noise. Your words feel empty. You feel like your prayers are trapped beneath a thick ceiling. I am breaking that brass ceiling over your life today. I am sending a holy wind to clear your temple completely. The buyers and sellers of worry must pack their bags and leave your mind right now, because I am reclaiming the sacred territory that belongs to my spirit. You will hear my voice clearly in the stillness. Think about the times when your intuition told you to move. You felt a quiet prompting inside your chest. Your rational mind quickly talked you out of taking action. You allowed the fear of failure to paralyze your steps, and you stayed in rooms where your light was constantly dimmed by the insecurity of other people. I am giving you a new spirit of bold discernment. You are a holy vessel chosen for a unique assignment. The trials you faced were not random accidents of fate. I allowed the heat of the furnace to intensify for a season. I was refining the pure gold inside your character, and the enemy mistakenly believed that the flames would consume your grand destiny before you could expand. I used the fire to destroy your invisible chains. Look at the scars on your heart with a new perspective. They are not tokens of permanent brokenness or shame. They are the exact places where my light will shine. You will become a living refuge for other broken souls who are currently wandering in the dark, because your survival will give them a perfect blueprint for victory. Your pain carries a deep purpose. I am currently rearranging the financial landscape of your family. The patterns of systemic lack are melting away under my gaze. I am releasing a sudden wave of divine favor today. The debts that kept your spirit in a state of constant anxiety will be washed away completely, and new doors of opportunity will swing open at my command. Prepare your hands to receive the harvest now. You must stop measuring my ability based on human limitations. The bank account may look entirely empty to your eyes. My storehouses in heaven remain completely full of abundant blessings. The earthly experts may tell you that your situation is impossible to fix, but I am the sovereign God who creates beautiful paths through the deepest oceans. I speak directly to the dry bones today. They rise up as a mighty army. Do you feel the shifting of the atmosphere right now? The weight behind your chest is beginning to lift gently. The heavy static that blinded your eyes is fading away. You are beginning to remember the original blueprint of your holy identity, and you will finally realize that you are an appointed heir to an unshakable kingdom. You are not a helpless victim of circumstance. I saw the exact moment when you gave up completely. You looked at the delay and assumed I forgot you. You vanished your great expectations in a dark corner. You settled for a life of quiet mediocrity because the waiting season was too painful, but I have come to reactivate the seeds of greatness inside your soul. The dream I gave you is still alive. The enemy wants you to stay in the safe boat. He uses the opinions of people to anchor your life. They tell you that your vision is far too large. I do not call the qualified people of the world, because I always qualify the chosen ones who are willing to step out into the dangerous waters. Get out of the boat right now. Walk on the water with me today. I am establishing a new foundation of total security here. The arguments between your loved ones are coming to an end. My peace is entering your dwelling place like a morning fog. It will fill every empty corner of your house, and it will completely wash away the residual trauma that was left behind by those who betrayed your trust. Your family will know that I am Lord. Breathe in my holy presence right now and feel calm. The frantic pacing of your mind is slowing down gently. I am erasing the recordings of old failures from your memory. You are completely clean in my sight because my grace has already covered your mistakes, and you are fully authorized to step into your season of expansion. Walk forward without any hesitation today. We are approaching the moment of absolute clarity right now. The pieces of your broken past are coming together beautifully. You will finally understand the deep purpose behind the long silence. I am about to tear away the final veil of uncertainty from your eyes, and the light of my glory will illuminate the path of your restoration. Listen closely to my next words. I see the quiet doubt in your heart. You are thinking about your past disappointments. You feel like these promises are too good to be true. And because you have prayed so many times without seeing a physical result, your spirit has built a thick wall of protection against future hurt. You want to believe my voice today. Your hesitation does not anger my Holy Spirit. It tells me how long you have been faithful in the dark. You are simply trying to protect your mind from another heartbreak, and I am stepping into your thought life today to dissolve the invisible barriers that have kept you trapped in a cycle of silent sorrow. My silence in those difficult years was never my actual absence. There were many answers that I withheld for your own safety. I was not ignoring your desperate cries in the night. Because a hasty confirmation in that immature season would have broken your soul, I chose to hold back the blessing until you were truly ready. Let us look back at the ancient history of my house. There was a righteous man named Job who lost his entire family in one day. He lost his wealth and his beautiful children. His body was covered in sores. He sat in the dirty ashes of his former life, while the world mocked his deep devotion to my holy name. His closest friends sat beside him and spoke cruel words of judgment. They told him that his suffering was a punishment for his secret sins. They believed that I had completely abandoned his soul to the darkness, but they did not understand the grand tapestry that my hands were weaving in the unseen realm to prepare him for an historic breakthrough. I was never absent from the suffering of Job. I was present in every single agonizing second of his heavy trial, and when the season of refining was fully completed, I restored everything he lost with a double portion of heavenly favor. I am the exact same God today. You must trust my promise. Your restoration is approaching. Now let us enter the exact center of your current struggle. I have heard the quiet prayers that you have stopped praying out loud. I see how you watch other people receive their blessings, and every single night you sit in the silence of your room and wonder if your name was completely forgotten by your Creator. You have started to believe that my silence means absolute rejection. You tell yourself that you lack the necessary faith to move my hand. You assume that your old mistakes have permanently disqualified you from my favor. But my beloved child, that heavy belief is a malicious lie from the enemy to steal your divine destiny. Hear the deep truth of your situation today. There is a difference between my delay and the enemy's barrier. Mine brings a quiet peace even in the waiting. The adversary takes my quiet stillness and translates it into a message of deep shame to confuse your mind. I call this hidden mechanism the stolen meaning. You must understand how it operates. The enemy wants you to interpret my preparation season as total abandonment. He builds a psychological cage out of your unanswered questions. He locks your thoughts inside a false reality that does not exist in my kingdom, and he uses the constant static of the world to drown out the original signal I placed in your brain from the beginning. So those years that you called wasted were not wasted. Those painful nights when you could not sleep were not a heavenly punishment. They were a necessary period of holy insulation. I was keeping your spirit completely separate from the corrupt foundations of the world, so I could build an enduring temple in your life. You were never falling behind your peers. You were simply being deep-rooted into my timing. What looked like a closed door was actually my hand blocking a dangerous trap. And because I love your soul too much to let you fail, I delayed your steps to save your future destiny. You must see this clearly. So when the waiting feels completely unbearable, you must change your strategy immediately. Stop asking why I am silent. Start asking what I am protecting. Place your right hand over your chest right now and declare that you will no longer allow the enemy to steal your peace. Take back your spiritual authority right now. The thief has no power over you. The heavy chains of the thief are losing their grip on your mind right now. The mechanism of deception has been completely broken by the light of my truth. You must seal this breakthrough before we move forward. Comment, "The chain breaks here," to activate your release from this ancient cycle of worry and step into my favor. I feel another wave of hesitation pulling your spirit back from my promise. A quiet voice is whispering that this double restoration is meant for someone else. You look at your past failures and you judge yourself completely unworthy of my blessings. Let me silence that voice before it steals your harvest, because my grace does not depend on your human perfection. I have never given my spiritual gifts based on human merit. I pour my absolute best onto willing hearts. Your trembling presence today is the only qualification that I require. And because you stayed to listen to my voice in this holy hour, the windows of heaven are opening over your family tree. Receive my free gift now. The enemy uses the modern world to amplify the noise of comparison. You look at the digital screens and see the success of strangers. You compare your quiet wilderness with their public harvest, and the thief uses that unfair comparison to convince your heart that you are failing my design when you are actually succeeding. Remember how the story of Job ended in total victory. He did not receive a simple restoration of his old possessions. I gave him twice as much as he had before the trial began. His new daughters were the most beautiful women in the land, and his cattle multiplied across the vast green valleys without any effort. His wealth was unmeasurable. The people who abandoned him during his sickness came back to celebrate his honor. They brought gifts of gold and silver to his table. They realized that my hand had lifted his head above his enemies. Your private restoration will carry the exact same corporate witness, because those who mocked your tears will soon see your divine elevation. Look at me right now, my beloved child. Do you feel the sudden warmth moving across your chest? The heavy static of the world is dissolving completely. The mechanism of the enemy has no more legal authority over your thoughts, and your spirit is expanding right now to receive the massive wealth of glory that I have prepared for your next steps. The preparation room is officially closed today. The silent forging of your soul is finally complete. You have passed through the dark furnace of testing without losing your devotion, and because you kept your faith when heaven seemed silent, I am opening the storehouses of paradise to flood your life with abundance. Your waiting is over. Let us look closely at the things you believe you have lost forever. You think about the years that were stolen by sickness or financial lack. You mourn the relationships that broke under the weight of misunderstanding. You believe that your time has expired. But I am the sovereign Lord of time itself, and I can compress decades of harvest into a single day of favor. The static noise was designed to make your spirit deaf to my daily instructions. When you cannot hear me, you make decisions based on panic. You enter rooms that I never authorized for your life. You attach your pure heart to people who carry a spirit of extraction. But today the extraction ends completely, because I am placing a holy hedge of protection around your emotional and financial resources. You are the designated cycle breaker of your entire lineage. The ancestors before you did not have the spiritual endurance to break the wall. They settled for the scraps that the world offered them. They allowed fear to dictate their boundaries. But I chose your fragile vessel to step out of that historical limitation and open a new highway of generational wealth. Your spirit is now fully aligned with the frequency of divine receptivity. The static of the thief has lost its power to confuse your mind. You know the truth about the long delay. You understand that it was my deep love protecting your destiny. Stand up straight right now, because the chains are broken and your soul is finally free to inherit the promises. The hour of your total liberation has arrived. I am speaking with absolute authority over your situation today. I command the dark doors to fly open right now, and because you have endured the hidden furnace with a faithful heart, I am releasing a sudden flood of double restoration that will completely overwhelm your current losses. Your struggle ends today. The limits of your past do not possess any power over your future destiny. I am breaking the economic stagnation that has followed your family tree for generations. You are no longer a desperate survivor begging for earthly scraps, and you will witness my sovereign hand lifting your head high above the people who mocked your tears in the dark. Rise up now. Let me show you a beautiful glimpse of who you are becoming. Picture a quiet morning exactly 6 months from now. You wake up before the sound of your digital alarm, and for the first time in many exhausting years, there is absolutely no painful knot of anxiety waiting for you inside your stomach. The world is peaceful. You lie there in the stillness of your warm room. You notice that something is fundamentally different inside your chest. The heavy static you carried for a lifetime is simply gone. Your very first thought is not a message of fear. It is a quiet knowing that you are deeply loved by the Creator of the universe. Breathe it in. The light of the morning sun shines through your window. Your shoulders are completely relaxed. You look at your financial accounts, and you feel an absolute sense of divine security. The bills that used to steal your sleep are now paid in full, and your mind is perfectly free to enjoy the abundant life I designed for you now. That glorious version of you is not an impossible fantasy. My beloved child, that person already exists inside my eternal timeline. She is not many painful years away from your current location. She is merely one total surrender away from the exhausted warrior who is sitting here listening to my voice today. The distance is short, The true distance between your present pain and that future peace is not measured by time, it is measured by your permission. It is the exact moment you finally choose to stop carrying what I never asked you to hold. When you choose to let my sovereign hands carry the weight instead, the transformation begins immediately. I do not work only through sudden, unexplainable miracles. I also perform my holy work through the dedicated hands of those I call into medical discovery. I have gifted humanity the supreme wisdom to unlock what I hid within sound and within the physical design of the mind. Wise minds spent decades in scientific research. I quietly directed their curiosity toward the mysteries of creation, and I want to show you two of my precious children who received this sound provision before you arrived here today. I want to tell you what I did for one of my daughters. Rachel sought my deep peace for many years through intense prayer and sincere faith. 2 weeks after she embraced this specific provision, her marriage was completely transformed. Learning became totally effortless for her mind, and she described her daily life as an enchanted reality because a heavy blockage had been cleared from her spirit. The channel was finally open. Her soul could hear my voice clearly, and for others, I moved differently. My son Michael came to this provision because he needed mental focus and a breakthrough for his children. 2 months later, his business grew enough to leave his exhausting job. His mind was completely transformed. Hard problems solved themselves while he rested in my presence quietly. The researchers whose minds I guided for decades built a specific instrument. They call it the Genius Song. It is a digital audio frequency designed to return your mind to the exact state of a little child. It reactivates the sacred gamma signal that ran freely in your brain before the world trained you to survive. This special provision is not a generic meditation app. It is not an ordinary soundtrack that you can find on public streaming platforms. It requires only 7 minutes of complete surrender each day. You simply put on your headphones and close your eyes. You do not have to perform or achieve anything during this time. The frequency clears the enemy static from your thoughts. It restores the childlike receptivity that I described when I spoke to my disciples long ago. Unless you become like little children, you cannot receive the full abundance of my kingdom. The Genius Song is the earthly tool I aligned for your total restoration. This holy provision is not for those who are merely curious about spiritual things. It is prepared specifically for the exhausted warrior I have been speaking to throughout this entire message. And to my beloved child who has already tried everything and feels completely embarrassed to try once more, listen closely to me now. The things that failed you in the past required your intense human effort and strict discipline. This sound provision requires absolutely none. It is designed to work efficiently not because of your own strength, but because of my original design inside your brain. I am clearing the interference so you can receive. Earthly experts charge hundreds of dollars per hour for private clinical sessions that attempt to reach this peaceful state. The mechanical equipment that researchers use costs thousands, but I do not call my children to enter expensive clinics or buy massive machines. What I have placed here is available for a fraction. I place this provision within reach, specifically for the one who would receive it through a quiet message like this one. It requires a small earthly exchange. It is the size of a single mustard seed of investment for the massive harvest I have prepared. And I have aligned 4 additional gift provisions for your journey. You will receive the special Genius Child Track to bless the focus of your children. You will receive the original prosperity text and a guided visualization from a trusted voice. These gifts are included to help you sustain the restored signal. The small exchange is a simple token of your willingness to trust my plan completely. Where I place my holy truth, the enemy always creates a cheap imitation. There are false frequencies circulating on streaming platforms under similar names. They carry none of the restoration I designed for your soul. Do not wander into unverified paths that steal your peace. Access only the official provision below. I do not lead my children into financial risk or worldly danger. This provision is completely protected by my steadfast promise of safety. If the deep restoration does not come to your mind within 60 days, every earthly penny will be returned to you in full. Walk forward without a single drop of fear today. Take this step of obedience right now. Embrace the sound instrument that I have placed on your path for this specific season. You can find the path to your provision below in the pinned comment and in the description. Do not let this holy moment pass you by. Trust the invitation of the one who knows your name. Now, my beloved child, set aside the heavy noise of decision for a moment. I have shown you the tool I aligned for your journey. Whether you step forward into it right now or at a later time, you are still my precious masterpiece. Close your physical eyes for a brief second. Let your mind stop racing. I am a vessel fully restored to receive what you prepared. I want you to carry this sacred declaration inside your thoughts every single day. The static of the thief no longer holds any dominion over your mind. You carry the clear signal I placed in you from the beginning. You can rest completely in my deep peace. You have become like a little child today, and you have received the promises made to children. If this message has brought light to your weary soul, do not let it fade away without a response. Anchor your agreement with a final act of gratitude, like this broadcast, to seal the holy covenant between your heart and mine. Share this message with 3 souls who are secretly crying out for hope in the dark. Subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss my daily guidance for your next steps. I am walking beside you through every single season. Go forward in absolute victory. My peace remains with you always.